Hello, it's Enestor 27. I'm here with another OU Wi-Fi battle against my good buddy Pedro, Bulbasaurus the great Bulbasaurus the great, the words, many different names, but I call him Pedro. If you guys haven't heard of him, go check him out in the link in the description below. He's a very talented GFX artist. He does some very amazing and original bio cards and stuff. So yeah, love the dude, and yeah, we're gonna hop right into this battle. Alright, so Bulbasaurus is issuing us a challenge. I decided to lead off with my Choice Scarf Lando because I knew I would outspeed anything on his team minus a Choice Scarf Mamoswine. So he decides to lead off with his Bulbasaurus, which is gonna be a problem later on, but you guys will see later. So he's gonna reveal he's obviously Mega, because it's Beefasaurus, and you don't really see a defensive, especially defensive. I don't know what kind of defensive wallish Venusaur when it's regular, and based on that damage that he just took, it's sort of making me think that it may or may not be defensive, physically defensive rather than special. But it is what it is. I'm gonna U-turn right into my Mandibuzz as he opts to go for the Leech Seed, and here I'm sort of thinking that odds are he's probably gonna go for another Leech Seed or B, a Sludge Bomb. He decides to opt for a Sludge Bomb as I switch in my my Scizor to see what he wanted to go for. He decides to go for the Synthesis. I'm assuming that he wanted to get some nice HP back, but fortunately I am slower, so I'm able to get the top priority U-turn on this this Venusaur, and this is really telling me that this thing is physically defensive. So I'm gonna bring in the Talonflame and completely scare him away with the Brave Bird. And this turn, so I knew that he wouldn't want his Beefasaurus to be taking a Brave Bird, so I knew he'd probably bring in something like the Heatran to take a Brave Bird a lot better. So I go for the U-turn as he obviously brings in the Heatran. So I'm going to switch out. I'm going to bring in my Lando, I believe. Yes, I'm going to bring in my Lando. I know I'm Choice Scarfed right now. So here I'm like, I think this turn I go for the Earthquake because I wanted to make sure that this Heatran was out of the way. So he decides to opt and go. He predicts that very nicely. Goes to the Thunderous as I'm stuck into EQ, and because I can't really do anything and HP Ice is a thing, I decided to switch out to my Scizor just to scout out what he wants to go for as he goes for the Nasty Plot. And right here, I'm really proud of myself on this play. I knew that HP Ice was not going to be doing much, wouldn't have done that much, so I was like banking right here. I was banking that he was going to go for the Thunderbolt this turn, so I decided to double back out to my Lando as I get the useless Intimidate as he goes for the Thunderbolt, and I was like, yes! High five on that one. And this turn, he oddly goes for a Nasty Plot. It sort of threw me off when he went first. I forgot that this thing usually carries Prankster. So I was like, whoa, this thing is faster than me. And I was like, wow. And I was just like, it's Choice Scarf probably. And then I remembered it went for a T-Bolt and Nasty Plot. So I was thankfully able to hit the Stone Edge and easily take out the Thunderous. So here I'm going to switch out after seeing the Mamoswine. I'm like, yeah, this thing's probably going to go for an Ice Shard this first turn, so let's see it go for it. But he decides to opt and go for the Stealth Rocks, and right now I'm sort of thinking he doesn't want to take a BP. That'll probably finish him off. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna go for a U-turn. Nope, he decides to stay in, and apparently after the battle he told me it was a Focus Sash Mamoswine. So I was like, okay, I guess that should have been a lead or something, but whatever. I'm gonna send in my Mandibuzz just because I knew I could take anything he wanted to go for. But he carries Endeavor, and I was like, what the hell? Why does this thing have Endeavor? I was predicting Ice Shard. I was predicting maybe Icicle Crash. So I was like, oh, I can eat these up a lot, like pretty good. So I was like, I'll go for a Defog and I'll be a decent HP. Nope. Endeavor puts me in range where a Ice Shard can finish me off, so I'm gonna switch in my Talonflame, and I'm not gonna play around with this Ice Sharding Mamoswine. So I'm gonna go straight for the Brave Bird. I'm like, yeah, there's no way I'm gonna let this thing live. So there goes the Mamoswine, thankfully, and there goes a massive threat to my Lando right there. And you guys are gonna see, unfortunately, I do not have Life Orb. I sort of misread what my items were saying. I'm sort of a klutz that way, but it is what it is. He's going to switch in the Heatran. Here I'm sort of thinking by the way he brought it in, it might be Choice Scarfed, or it could be sort of offensive in some way, but I knew that I didn't want to take the chance because Pedro does bring very interesting sets, because he was the man to bring in a flanked Tyranitar to a Midnight Noctowl once. So I know that a Choice Scarf Heatran is not too far away. So I decided to switch into my Sylveon because it is a special wall. It's AV, and yeah, modest special attack, modest max special attack, max HP. Yeah, it's decent. So I'm just messing around as I go for the Shadow Ball as I was predicting him to stay in, just to make sure if he's choiced or not. So, and then he decided to switch out, so it sort of told me he was Choice Scarfed, so I know that from future reference. So I sends in the Clefable. He starts setting up some Calm Minds. I'm gonna go for Moonblast. Very unfortunately, I do get the special attack drop. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because he's gonna go for a second one right here. But this time around, I also get another special attack drop. But it doesn't really matter because you guys are gonna see in a little bit that it's I'm essentially right here. I know that he's at range where he doesn't want to risk the crit. So he has to go for the Moonlight / Egg Softboil. I don't know what these things usually carry. So I know that I can get a safe switch into my Caesar right here. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, maybe full HP, I can probably take out the Clefable at full range. So he's going to go for the Moonlight, obviously, and after leftovers, it'll leave him at a very high HP. It's not full, so I was thinking that I would be able to kill him off with CB, Max Attacks, Adamant, Technician, Stab, Bullet Punch. Super effective, but he lives. He lives with like, I don't know how much, but he does go for the Flamethrower, and you guys are going to see that since he got, since the Flamethrower is 4 times super effective, it didn't really matter that the special attack drops did come into play or not. I'm going to switch into my Landorus right here, who is going to easily outspeed this Clefable. I'm going to go for the Earthquake because there's nothing on his team that A, is immune to it, or B, not willing to take it. So he's going to opt to stay in with the Clefable. I don't know, it could have been nice to have for later. As it dies, he's going to send in the Balk, the Conkeldurr, and here, based on his team, the mons he had left, I knew that one mon that sort of was useless was my Sylveon. I didn't want my Lando to die quite yet because the Heatran is still about, so I'm going to send in my Sylveon off for Death Fodder, but you guys are going to see this, this Ice Punch didn't do nearly as much as I thought, so I was like, oh wow, this Moonblast is going to do a lot to Bulk. It's going to be within range, a decent range where an EQ can probably kill. So I'm able to take a second Ice Punch, and here I'm thinking, oh, maybe I can take a Mach Punch because it is super, like, not very effective and it's not super high base power. But I was unfortunately wrong. It is what it is. I'm going to switch. Into my Mega Gardevoir right here. I am going to trace his guts right about now. And I'm like, well, I don't really rely on physical attacks that much, so I'm just going to Mega Evolve real quick. If he wants to get a quick little stab of attack on my Mega Gardevoir, he might as well right here. But I don't think he decides to go for the Mach Punch, which could have been useful. It doesn't really matter at the end. It probably could have helped a little bit later, but whatever. He's going to die to a Psyshock either way. I wouldn't have done enough. And here he decides to send in the Heatran. Here I'm just like, well, Gardevoir sort of served its purpose because I'm going to deal with a physically defensive Venusaur and then this Heatran. So here I'm just like, yeah, just try to get some assured damage on it. And as he goes for the Ancient Power, or Lava Plume, my bad. And after seeing that he's going for Lava Plume, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to risk getting burned. So I decided to stay in and essentially Death Fodder. I'm going to go for Shadow Balls. And I was debating between Shadow Ball and Focus Blast. And I was like, you know what? Just go for Shadow Ball just to make sure that the, if Lando can, for some odd reason, can't get the kill with an Earthquake from this range, then I guess a Talonflame can go for a Brave Bird. But whatever, Heatran's going to get a lowered attack from Intimidate. I'm going to show off that I am Choice Scarfed. I guess throughout his battle he sort of didn't know I was Choice Scarfed. But here I reveal it very obviously. I'm going to kill off the Heatran, thankfully, and all he has left is this Beefasaurus. And here he just sort of decides to try to stall me out with Synthesis and stuff. But it's at the end of the day, it's not going to work out too well for him because he's gonna. I don't know. I did have like 5 more Earthquakes, so I was sort of like hoping right now for like crits and max rolls. but it's at the end of the day, I did have a Talonflame in the back of my squad who could probably take out this Bulbasaurus within, I don't know, 2 hits. I'm pretty sure, so I'm gonna go for another Earthquake. I'm just like praying, can I get the crit, please? No, I don't. It's gonna go for its Synthesis again. I'm just like, why are you doing this, Pedro? I'm just like yelling. I'm just yelling at the top of my lungs, Pedro, why are you doing this to me? What's the point? You're gonna lose anyway. So I'm gonna keep going for EQs right now, hoping for a crit. Thankfully, I finally get it as he goes for the Leech Seed. I don't know why he didn't bother to try to synthesize me out, because the Leech Seed wouldn't have been doing enough for him to actually live a second one. Crit, I don't know if it mattered enough for it, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter because I did have the Talonflame in the back, and that will be a GG to my good friend Pedro, the Bulbasaurus, the great Bulbasaurus, whatever he wants to be referred to. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to hit that like button. It really does mean a lot. Question of the day, let's go with, what is your favorite color? If I had to choose, my favorite color would be a good tie between green and orange. Believe it or not, I am although I do wear a lot of blue. I guess blue is the color that looks best on me, but if I just like look at the color, I like green and orange a lot more personally, but I guess whatever. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and this has been Enestor, and I will see you guys later.